So let's talk about that constant battle we all seem to be fighting for our own attention. But what if it isn't a battle at all? What if focus isn't something you have to force, but something you can actually build? Let's get into it. I want you to really think about this for a second. Is your focus a flickering candle? You know, the kind that gets blown out by the slightest little breeze of distraction? Or is it more like a steady flame, burning with a consistent, directed heat? Our whole goal here is to help you turn that flicker into a really dependable fire. So, where do we even begin? Well, the very first step is to light the flame itself. You can't really protect something that doesn't exist yet, right? This is all about giving your mind a super clear, unambiguous anchor point. Without that direction, a mind is just like a lamp without any oil.
Now, what's so interesting here is how this shows the difference between just a wish and a real intention. I want success. I mean, that's just a fog. Your brain has no idea what to do with that. But look over on the right. I will complete this project in 30 days. Now, that is a target. It's specific, it's measurable, and it gives your attention a very clear job to do. That precision, that's the kindling for your fire.
Okay, so once you have that flame lit with a really precise goal, the next move is to build a foundation around it, basically a structure to protect it. And this is where things get a little counterintuitive. It's actually less about adding things and way more about taking them away. The crucial thing to get here is that focus is so often an act of subtraction, silencing notifications, saying no. These aren't just nice ideas, they are active, deliberate choices. Every single time you remove one of those little distractions, you're making the walls around your attention that much stronger. And that last line is everything. What you remove shapes what remains. You're literally carving out a space where focus can actually live and breathe. Look, even with the absolute best foundation, that flame is gonna waver. It just is. And when pure discipline isn't quite enough, you need fuel. And that fuel is your why. Just asking yourself this simple question connects you right back to your original purpose. It turns what feels like a chore back into something you're truly devoted to. All right, so now let's talk about how we build on this foundation and turn it into a daily habit. We've defined our goal. We've cleared away the clutter. Now it's time to actually do the work. This is all about turning an idea into a practice you can repeat day in and day out. This quote just nails a core truth. Nobody is born with perfect focus. It is not a talent, it is a skill. And just like any muscle, it gets stronger with every single repetition. Every time you notice your mind has wandered and you bring it back, you've just done one more rep. You are actively, literally building your capacity for concentration.
So, how do we put this into practice? With this simple, incredibly powerful ritual. First, you set aside a sacred block of time. During this time, you have one job. Now, your mind is going to drift. That's just what minds do. The real magic happens in steps 2 and 3. You just notice it without any judgment and you pause. That 5-second pause, it is everything. It stops you from running on autopilot. Then you ask the question, is this helping my goal? And finally, you just gently guide your mind back. It's a simple, repeatable loop that truly builds that muscle.
Okay, strengthening your internal muscle is absolutely critical, but we can't ignore the world around us. Our environment is constantly sending signals to our brain, and we need to make sure those signals are helping us, not hurting us.
I think we've all felt this, right? A messy desk, a chaotic room, it creates this low-level hum of mental noise. Every object is a potential distraction, a loose end, a reminder of something else you need to do. It's not loud, it's just a whisper, but it's constantly pulling at your attention. And of course, the opposite is just as powerful. A clean, minimal space sends a very clear signal to your brain. Okay, work happens here. It removes all that visual noise and makes it so much easier for your mind to settle on that one precise goal you set for yourself. You're basically creating an external environment that mirrors the internal focus you're trying to achieve. Oh man, this is such an important part of designing our inner environment. We so often treat rest like it's a reward, or even worse, a sign of weakness. But a tired mind will actively seek out an escape. It wants to be distracted. So proper sleep and guilt-free breaks aren't indulgences. They are absolutely essential tools for keeping your mind sharp and focused. So, we've covered setting a goal, removing distractions, practicing daily, and designing our environment. Now, let's tie this all together with the core philosophy, which is really about changing the relationship you have with your own mind. Let's just sit with this for a moment. This is the absolute heart of this entire guide. We so often think of focus as a battle, right? A fight against our wandering mind. But this reframes the whole thing as an act of kindness and gentle persistence. You are not a drill sergeant yelling at your mind. You are a patient teacher, gently, kindly guiding it back every single time it strays, with infinite patience for the process.
And that really brings us to the end. It's not about achieving some perfect, unbroken state of concentration. It's all about the simple, compassionate act of returning. So the question for you isn't, what will you force yourself to focus on? Instead, it's this: what important thing, what precise flame will you gently guide your mind back to today?